The rural way of life is about making everyone feel at home. Tractor Supply chose advanced 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business to transform intelligent customer service. Together, we put the power of AI to work across 2,200 stores, keeping things running seamlessly inside, curbside, and countryside. This is elevated customer experience. This is Tractor Supply with T-Mobile for Business. Take your business further at T-Mobile.com/now.
Clorox Sentiva smells like grapefruit. Cleans like Clorox. And feels like...
Okay, we could be here all day. Try Clorox Sentiva for a trusted clean with long-lasting freshness. Also available in lavender and coconut. Use as directed.
Police responded to a 911 call.
Dramatic video of gun insanity in the Bronx.
Police releasing a new video of a person that they are still trying to track down.
Defund the police is not the answer.
Many people surveyed said they just don't feel safe in the city.
It's a shooting outside of a store.
This is Bo Dietl's One Tough Podcast.
Police this morning are searching for the person who turned this Harlem platform to a crime scene.
A Red Apple Media Podcast Network production. Now, here's Bo Dietl.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bo Dietl's One Tough Podcast. Today I got a real exciting guy, one of my fellow men in blue, and a gentleman that I know for a long time. But I always thought he was like from Las Vegas. And then when I was reading his bio, he started out right across the river over here. And his name is Randy Sutton. He's a former lieutenant from the police department in Las Vegas, but welcome to Bo's show here, Randy. I feel like I know you very, very well. We've spoken over the last many years, and you are one interesting guy, and I want everybody to stay tuned, and we're going to talk about a lot of things. So why don't we basically just talk about how your life started when you first got in the police department. And again, listeners, we're talking about a guy who's been in movies, TVs, written 5 books, some really, really great books, and you just keep on pumping. How old are you now, Randy?
Why are you asking me a question like that?
Come on, Randy.
Well, I'm closing in on 70, okay?
I got ties older than you, so don't worry about it. I was just telling the kids, I'm looking in the monitor, and I said, I got to get some of that shoe polish and put it in my hair because I'm really gray. But welcome to the show, and we got a great listening crew, and I want you to talk about yourself. It's about you. It's not about me today, and I want you to talk about how you started with the police and all that, and how you went and all the things that you've done.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. It's great to be on your show. I remember sitting in a very cool New York restaurant with you, having a cocktail a few years back and shooting the breeze. So it's really a pleasure to be here. And I got to say, Bo, I think I'm a really lucky guy because I always knew what I was going to be even when I was a little kid. I grew up literally across the river from you in New Jersey in a small community called Princeton, where the university is.
Fine city.
It was a great place to grow up. It was a really boring place to be a cop, though. So
they didn't do nothing there. All they did was read books and study and get diplomas. Go ahead.
So chasing college kids around. All the really bad crooks came down from New York to caper in Princeton, and so I did 6 years as a patrol officer, then 4 years as a detective. And I got to tell you, it was tough leaving. I was almost halfway to retirement, but I was so bored, Bo. I needed a challenge, and Las Vegas Metro PD was hiring.
Yeah. And
so I went out there, tested, and literally started my career all over again. Had to go through the academy, had to go through field training, and learned all. And I got to tell you, policing is a lot different in Vegas than it was in Princeton.
Oh, no, and still to this day, they don't take too much guff like the poor guys in New York and New Jersey. Now we're in the, what they call those blue states or something, and people can mess with us, and they don't respect cops. But I think you got a little more respect out there in Las Vegas, a lot more than L.A. even, because of the fact that this is a good, strong, conservative state of people that care about people's safety, and they respect the cops. It's cool stuff.
Well, it was a total change coming from Princeton, where it was even liberal back then, Bo. But when I came out here out west, it was a totally different environment. Plus, as a cop in New Jersey, I never even used my weapon, of course. But I was in my first shooting when I was still on probation here. So this was, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it, right? But I never looked back on my decision to come out here, Bo. The challenges, the ability to really be a cop and do the policing that the way it should be, especially, during the time, my career spanned 34 years. And I believe that I was here in the best years of policing, like before body cams and before some of the ridiculous, scrutiny that these officers are facing today. And, you and I both have visualized the great disrespect that the law enforcement officers of today are facing. In fact, that's why I wrote my latest book, Rescuing 911, The Fight for America's Safety, because what has taken place has left America in a criminal justice crisis, the likes we've never seen, we're still in the midst of it.
I have never seen the low downness of the police across this country. Even in our conservative states, they're always second guessing them. Everything is there, and you're looked upon as a policeman. We were looked upon as like heroes. Now they're looked upon as garbage. They spit them. What's going on in New York? I don't know if you watch the news. You got these illegal little punks smashing, hitting cops, beating them up and all that. And everyone there says, oh, they're under 16 years old, you can't do it. Or really, put a gun in the 16-year-old's hand and see if he can pull the trigger. That's bull crap. You assault a police officer, I don't care how old you are, you've got to pay the piper. And you know what? That's the biggest problem. And especially in New York, when you wrote this book, which I'm going to read, I read some of the Cliff Notes, but really to stay with the focus of what you just said, in New York, it's totally even worse than you can even imagine with this moron mayor we have, the other Big Bird de Blasio, who I ran against for mayor, that piece of garbage. They've done the bail reform completely. No one, when you get arrested on felonies, robberies, attempted murders, you're out, no bail. And on top of it, you as a police officer, you're not covered with any insurance or anything with the liability. So whatever you do, they could go after you personally, take your house, and you arrest somebody. Hey, you can't put them in a headlock, not a chokehold. A headlock. I used it 100 times. Nobody died. Then you can't climb on top of them to handcuff them. How in the hell do you handcuff somebody without climbing on top? It's called the, what the hell is the law? Some stupid law. Now they're going even a little further. Now they're making them fill out reports when you meet somebody. Can you give me the directions to the Empire State Building? Oh, you got to stop everything. You got to make a report. This is so ridiculous what's happened to the police. And you capitalized this in the book 911?
Absolutely. This isn't by accident, Bo. This is a determined aspect of the left. They are trying to completely they're trying to criminalize policing is really what they're trying to do. They're making it as impossible to be a cop as it could ever be. So if they can't statutorily reduce the ability of the police to police, which they are doing, of course. Yeah. There's now, there's a law that is trying to be passed in many states. I think New York is one of them that Hochul is pushing that says to the police, we don't want you to enforce these certain laws, quote, minor infractions, and all in the name of racial equality. It is absurd. So what the city council has done in New York is as bad as they're treating these cops, making it impossible to police. Now they're putting, they're burying them in bureaucracy, as you just mentioned. You got to fill out a report for every contact you have. And that's insane.
Just staying on that real fast, this city council is a bunch of morons. I've called them morons to their faces. And the fact is they have now a city council person who's in charge of the police department, was one of the Central Park 5 that were robbing people in Central Park, and he didn't rape the girl. Some other little jerk off came by and raped her, and the DNA was in her, and they let him off everything. You know what they got? They got $50 million, the 5 scumbags, $10 million each. Now he's a city councilman in charge of the police department. You can't make it up. That's the diaphragm law. That means you can't climb on top of someone to handcuff. I don't know, unless you could levitate, throw the handcuffs down there. Now they got another moron running for mayor. His name is, I don't even want to name his name. He's a Muslim socialist that has said publicly to one of my employees, one of my black employees, beautiful guy, but he's a real law and order guy. He goes, the guy came to my house. He said, what are you going to do with the police? He goes, we're going to dismantle the police department and we're going to have community affair officers. This is what's going on. I mean, your book is timely, very timely, but it's something that prevails across the country. Forget about New York. We're finished. I carry a 9mm. It's the only amount of time. If I ever have to use it, they'll be indicting my ass. I'll tell you that much right now. And there will be no bail for Bo. I'll tell you that much. But go ahead. Keep on going with that book.
No, you're right. I mean, literally, it's happening across America. You see in Grand Rapids, Michigan, an officer is on trial for his life right now. He shot a suspect who, during this long drawn out physical battle, the suspect got hold of his taser. The officer was completely exhausted and did the only thing he could to save his life, and that was to shoot the suspect. He's now being tried for second-degree murder. It's happening all over the country.
We had it across the river. I think it was in Jersey, not Jersey City. Newark. There was a young Spanish kid that was chasing these 2 scumbags with guns. They were murders and all that. He chased them down the street and he fired at them. He got convicted of murder. The book, and I testified for him. I did everything. But the jury of morons, all they are so anti-cop, no matter what they bring. I'm going to an affair on Friday night. This Daniel Penny, you heard of him, right?
Sure, of course.
The great hero, Marine, that they wanted to convict him of murder when he was trying to save people on a subway train, and the guy took the pipe. And I think it's all about one thing. We're having a little bit of a fundraiser, good time for him, and it's going to be a very good night because I think this kid is some hero. But you want to know something? We talk about people that were wrongfully convicted. You have a lot of cops that were doing their job are in jail now. And what happened with the George Floyd effect, that screwed up everything. That gave him a reason to call. They built a statue on this punk. He was a felon. He should never died. We don't say that. And that cop was a dick. He should have get off him. But, we can all say whatever we want to say, but that was the catalyst to turn the country against every good police officer. Hey, we have bad ones, like you have bad surgeons that leave sponges and utensils in your body, and they do bad things. But we got to remember, every cop, 98% of them, 99%, go out there for one reason, to help the people. And, now they're all being casted with one paintbrush as being scumbags, brutalizing, and all that bull crap. And but there was some statistics I had, with black-on-black crime and all that kind of stuff. 98% are other blacks committing crimes against the blacks, and then the cops are like 1 or 2%. I mean, the numbers are staggering, the FBI numbers. They want to make this like it's a certified issue of every cop is a brutal piece of garbage and taking away your rights. Please continue.
And that is exactly why I wrote the book. That's why I wrote this book, Rescuing 911, because it tells the history of how it began. Now, this didn't begin with George Floyd. This began with President Obama. This began with Michael Brown in Ferguson.
Oh yeah,
that's really where we can look at the decline of respect for law enforcement, for law and order, for the police, and we can really focus on the famous president statement: "The police acted stupidly."
Yep, and that was with the college professor.
Correct, the friend of Obama. Turned out that the only person that acted stupidly was Obama's friend, and it was an embarrassment. But what that did, that showed that the president of the United States, it revealed what his true feelings were about law enforcement. And then, of course, he weaponized the Department of Justice against the police. And that's where we began seeing the decline of the respect of law enforcement and the bureaucratic attacks on policing, which continue to this day. Although, the Department of Justice and the FBI, they're being refocused finally under President Trump. Thank God.
Let's just wait right there. The opinion of the majority of minorities feel as though that the police are now they're getting their back. Now they're getting what's deserved to them back for all these years, all this crap. But the only problem I have, and I'm very honored and proud to let you know too, I just been appointed by the President of the United States, Donald Trump, as the Council of Homeland Security Advisory to the President, and I hope to help in many ways. That I have a lot of experience in this stuff. But more important is our Justice Department, Pam Bondi, great Attorney General, and our FBI head. But I got one little, I'm a little nervous. I'm nervous about a couple of things. I'm nervous about why the president is not getting higher support as far as the percentage of people supporting. He's trying to do and undo what all these liberals done, and we could see right across this country with the judges, even the federal judges, how it's been politicized and used as a weapon against any kind of real positiveness. And what I worry about is the midterm elections. And you know what's going to happen. If we lose the House of Representatives very close, the first thing they're going to do, day one, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to impeach Donald Trump, President Donald Trump. That's what they're going to do. They're going to keep us on the defensive. Like his first term, he never even was able to get they were accusing him things in Russia, this and all this crap. That's what they did. I'm scared. We hold the Senate. We hold the House of Representatives, but I'm real scared about what the future is, because this should be an overwhelming support across our country. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, everybody should be supportive of public safety for your children, your grandchildren. So this is not a black, white, racial thing. This is facts of our country. Safety is the most important thing to me in the world, that you could go home and you don't have to worry about someone climbing through your window, or you could walk along the street. You could wear a Rolex watch if you got it legally and you own it. You don't have to worry about it. People say to me, you can't wear your watch in L.A. I said, kiss my ass. I said, okay. And you want to know something? I was a decoy. I was mugged 500 times. I've been stabbed, shot at, everything. I'll wear my watch. Tell you what, I look at them. I walk around New York. You look at my watch. I look back at them in their eyes, and I think it's like the Kalahari, what's that desert there? Kalahari Desert over there in Africa. It's like they're looking at you. They want you to be a wounded prey. And I look at them right in the eyes and say, my eyes talk. I may be an old man, but you know you're going to get into it. This ain't going to be an easy one, and you're going to have to kill me to get it. And I think they read the eyes. What do you think? You're a cop.
All right. I think you're talking about the Serengeti.
That one too, yeah. Obviously, I didn't go to college. I left high school, and I wanted to go to college. We didn't have no money. I became a construction worker, and I worked. Then became a cop. But Serengeti, that one, yeah, that's good. I like that National Geographics. I like that stuff.
But you're absolutely, you're right. There are, this is something I think that the most people are really unaware of, because most people walk around without the conscious thoughts about their safety, right? Yeah. They don't realize that there are predators out there. There are predators that are looking to prey on you. What you just said is exactly correct. They're eyeing you up. They're looking at your Rolodex. They're going, what's the possibilities here? What's the risk to reward ratio, right? And of course, we're warriors. You and I were cops at a time when we were bred to be warriors, right? We were trained to be warriors. And what's happening, unfortunately, I run a nationwide charity called the Wounded Blue, Bo. You're aware of it.
Yeah.
It's a nationwide charity that helps injured and disabled officers across the country. And there's a startling statistic that rarely comes out. And last year, more than 79,000 police officers were physically assaulted in the line of duty. Think of that, Bo.
Yeah.
79,000 cops were physically assaulted That means they were shot, they were beaten, they were run over, they were hit by bricks. And that is 30,000 more than happened 5 years ago. So what we have seen is we're seeing police officers who are being trained not to be warriors. And that is a real serious issue for me, that we're training our cops to be cannon fodder sometimes. And that's really disturbing.
And what's happened now is the New York City Police Department, I can refer to that, and I'm sure it's across the country, they're not getting the candidates. Nobody wants to be a cop. Now they're lowering the standards down. They had standards, and now half of them they look like, when I came on the force, you had to be 5'8". I'd be one of the tallest guys there now. It looks like a bunch of munchkins, and they're not people that could fist fight or get into it. If they pull their gun out and all of a sudden the guy tells them, stick it up your ass, they go, oh, that's the problem. You're not getting the caliber of warriors. I like the word warriors. That's how I look at a police officer, as a warrior, because you want to look upon him when you need help. When you call 911, when that guy comes through the door and somebody's coming through your back door, you look upon him. Or if you're dying and you're having a heart attack, you look upon that cop as the guy that's going to help you. Let's remember, he's the judge, jury, and in some cases has to be the executioner. So you've got to have the balls to do every aspect of this thing.
Right.
If it comes into your face, you've got to be quick on your feet. And it's not something you learn in college, with all respect to my friends with all these college degrees. You could take them, wipe your ass with them. My thing is experience you can't buy. You can't teach it. And now with New York City Police Department, 50% have less than 5 years on the force. So that means that kids are training kids, not knowing what in the hell they're doing. They get in confrontation. Then the other thing, and I'm sure you got it in Vegas, is the influx of these illegal criminal immigrants. Criminal. I use that word, criminal. I am not against immigrants that are coming here for a better life, work hard, and a lot of immigrants work hard. I'm not against that. The criminal element, like these gang members. Oh, I love our border security guy, Holman. I was talking yesterday. I love Tom Holman, man. He's the greatest thing we ever had. And he just laughs. And he had one little piece of garbage who wanted to be the mayor was yelling at him. And all he kept doing was eating his apple, smiling at him, saying, do what you got to do. And then when you get these judges letting the perpetrator out the back door who committed a crime, that's a felony. Lock them up. That's what we got to do more. But again, now all of a sudden you have all these judges, federal judges with all these Fugazi lawsuits are keeping everything in the, everybody's on guard again. I want cops to not fear. Do your job. Don't fear what you're going to do. And if you have to hit somebody when you're wrestling with them, trying to arrest them, and you hit him with your gun on his head, say yes. I used necessary force because I had to effect that arrest. I had to get these handcuffs on. And I challenge anyone, take a 95-pound female. I challenge you to try to handcuff them while they're resistant. I challenge you. I don't care how strong Bo Dietl is or you or anybody else. I challenge you. If they're fighting, it's a very difficult thing to look very calm. It ain't like the old Adam 12 that we used to watch years ago. Put your hands behind your back. One Adam 12. No. It's like fight for your life sometimes with these cops out there. But the book that you have, it's very timely, this nine. What is the exact title of it?
Rescuing 911, the fight for America's safety. And it's really a call to action, Bo. Because until the people stand up for themselves and put people into office that deserve to be there, people that care about their safety, then we're going to continue down this horrendous road that we're on. And once again, I want you, I really want the people who are listening to your show, who are without a shadow of a doubt, those who care about their country, those who care about the police, to check out the book, Rescuing 911. It's on Amazon, but also I really want them to look at thewoundedblue.org. Thewoundedblue.org is the website for our nationwide charity. And by the way, you know that as well as I do, Bo, that sometimes charities, people are a little hesitant to give sometimes because they don't know, where that money is going, right?
Yeah.
So I want, so it's very important that people know that I do not take a salary as the chairman and as the founder of the Wounded Blue. I live on my police pension. And all the money that comes in goes to help injured and disabled cops. We've helped more than 15,000 police officers in the last 5 years, Bo. And both that means physical injuries and psychological injuries, because you know as well as I do that the suicide rate for law enforcement is stunning. And it's a national tragedy.
You're listening to Bo Dietl's One Tough Podcast. Please stay tuned with this message, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply.
Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country. Anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. Goldbelly ships Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garden's famous cakes. So, if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT. That's goldbelly.com, promo code GIFT.
Psst. Hey besties, listen up. I have a secret to tell you. LinkedIn now has improved the job search experience for nurses. Search by your specialty, the shifts you want to work, and the salary that you want to make. With so many employers hiring on LinkedIn, finding the perfect job is even more simplified. So don't spend months searching. Go to linkedin.com/nurses and find out why in the past year, more than 1.5 million nurses have used LinkedIn to search for their next role. That's linkedin.com/nurses.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, and MLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Yeah, I would like to become part of this charity. I really like it. The end of the Tunnel to Towers is one of my big charities that help a lot of law enforcement and the military. When we're talking about suicides, we got to remember every day, not to switch off from cops, every day I think 21 or 22 veterans commit suicide. Right. I mean, do you know how many people times a year? This is such a horrible crisis. And again, you have police officers who are involved in very serious situations who have the same psychological things too. We have to help them. You could count me. You got a great board here. I checked out some of these people you have over here. Really, John Kropinski there, and Don Corey and Christopher Darcy. You got some really good people here. Betsy Smith. You got people that are really good. You could count me with this new group, and how do people contribute to that group if they want to?
TheWoundedBlue.org is our website, and they can donate right there. If you want to become a sponsor, my email is randy@thewoundedblue.org. That's randy@thewoundedblue.org. If you're a corporate sponsor that want to help law enforcement, and for every cop who is listening to this, my entire peer team is made up of police officers who have been shot or stabbed or beaten or run over, and yet they continue to serve. I have officers who've been blinded, officers who are in wheelchairs, and yet they continue to serve. They are saving lives. We're saving careers. We're saving marriages. You don't have to walk this journey alone. If you feel like you're alone, you aren't. The Wounded Blue, here's our motto: never forgotten, never alone. We are that blue family. So if you are suffering, if you're thinking dark thoughts, please turn to us at thewoundedblue.org, or you can contact me, Randy, at thewoundedblue.org. And we've got some amazing people, Bo.
That's a beautiful thing, and you really give back, Randy, and that's a very important thing. And at the end of this podcast, we'll have that put on there, so when they watch the end of this podcast, they can contribute to that too. All right, let's get to Randy here, Randy Sutton, man. I mean, you're trying to be a movie star like me, I didn't believe you were in Casino. I was in Goodfellas. Nick Pileggi wrote the feature article for me on New York Magazine when they put me as the feature article when I retired. I didn't want to retire. I ended up going skydiving with a couple of abadabadoos in the desert, a couple of Saudi guys, and I jumped out of a plane. I didn't know how to land. I broke the leg in half, tibia, fibia, ankle. So I came back to New York. I had just locked the other scumbag up that killed 10 people. Palm Sunday massacre, eight of them with children under the age of 12, all shot in the head. So I was supposed to get promoted, and then I took a trip with the Saudi guys. I had a little side action going on. We weren't supposed to be moonlighting, but I wasn't taking money from wise guys. I was working as a bodyguard. So then we go to California, have a big party. Next thing is I'm jumping out of a plane, and I didn't know how to land and broke the leg. So when I get back to New York, I was in the hospital for a month. I get back to New York. I was in La Jolla, and I get back to New York, and they said, Bo, we're not putting you back on full duty. I was kind of controversial. Like I told the chief of detectives to fuck off. I told the chief of internal affairs to fuck. You know what it was, Randy? I worked hard. I didn't do anything wrong but work hard day and night. I had no family life. My kids grew up without a father.
Right.
And you want to know something? I hate when people challenge my work ethics, and I worked hard. So they told me, I said, I could go back to full duty. But when we locked up the guy who arrested the guy I arrested back in 81, when my partner Tom Colleran, God rest his soul, he raped. This was a famous case, the nun rape case in 1981, when they went into a convent. They broke in there, they carved 27, they raped, sodomized, 27 crosses they carved. They put a broom into her, left her for dead. And it was just funny that my partner Tom Colleran and I, we were like anti-crime detectives. We weren't in the detective division, which eventually I went into. So the chief of detectives was so pissed off. We got one in Chicago, one in New York. It's one of the great detective stories of all times. I never met the sergeant. His name was Kelly from the Chicago PD. I called him up cold. I said, I got a guy coming off the bus. Did you ever have a sixth sense, Sarge? Yeah. I said, just put him under surveillance. Little did I know, the bus got in an hour and a half early. We were supposed to fly out. And he took him for a little trip to the Great Lakes, and he put a double-barrel shotgun in his mouth, and he said, you're going to meet God right now. And then all of a sudden he gave up the rape, and then he gave up the second guy. So Tommy and I ran out before the big pinky ring detectives could get involved, and we took the second guy out. And make a long story short, the guy said something about my mother. I was up for 4 days, and allegedly I broke his jaw. I did break his jaw. Statute of limitations over. He said something about my mother. And I'm sure when that nun was being raped and when we were putting brooms and carving crosses, I don't think that she had too much right. So you know what? Tough bananas. And the guy that I locked up, the guy me and Tommy locked up, both of them, I think maybe one of them could be a mayor by now or something for a big city. Who knows? They've been out of jail so long already. Every cop killer in New York State is out of jail. And I was there during the murders of a lot of cops in 71, 72, 73. We had 13 cops killed one year, 11 killed the next year. They're all out. This friggin' Cuomo, they released all these cop killers. What about those children that grew up with no father? What about those children that can't have a Christmas and Easter happiness? You know what? Cop killer, you kill a cop, you stay in jail, and you know what? There's no cop killers in jail anymore in New York. It's like they probably give them a bonus when they get out of jail. I don't even know. But go back to you, Randy. Your life is so exciting as far as what you're doing right now. Speaking the way you're speaking about what cops go through. Timely book. And again, you're a movie star. You wrote 5 books. 5 books. Now, what are the 5 books you wrote?
Well, I never intended to be a writer, Bo. But what happened was, every cop has life-changing experiences.
Yeah.
And one of my life-changing experiences was saving the life of a 1-month-old baby who'd been shot in the face during a gang drive-by. And that night was such an important night for me. When knowing that I saved her life, I came home and I wrote that story called Her Name Was Jackie. And I didn't have anything to do with it. I just felt like I needed to get it out. You understand? And so I wrote that on a yellow pad, stuck it in a drawer. And then 3 years later, when the World Trade Center went down, I felt helpless, not being able to help the NYPD and Port Authority guys that were there. And so I decided I was going to do something to help their families. So remembering that story that was in my drawer, I went and asked cops all over the nation to write a story about something that affected their lives. And I put it in a book called True Blue, Police Stories by Those Who Have Lived Them.
Wow.
And it was published by a major publisher in New York. And I donated every penny of the royalties to the Widows and Orphans Fund for the Port Authority and police in New York City. And that's what started my writing career, which continues to this day, as this book, my new one, Rescuing 911, The Fight for America's Safety, just came out 3 weeks ago and hit the Amazon #1 bestseller list within days.
Randy, you're a remarkable guy. We keep our podcast to where we keep the attention. We don't let them go on and on and on. But I think people get the gist of who you are, Randy. And the reality is I need people to support this book that you wrote, not the book, the
Wounded Blue.
The Wounded Blue. And again, that to me right now could be the most important thing that we get out of this podcast. And how do they reach out and how do they send money there if they want to contribute?
Go to thewoundedblue.org and hit that big old donate button. And if you want to contact me personally about becoming a sponsor of the Wounded Blue and sponsoring one of our events or something that we do, Randy at thewoundedblue.org is my private email, Randy at thewoundedblue.org. We welcome these. So we can't do this alone. In fact, I'm actually here in Nashville right now, and we're teaming with the Gary Sinise Foundation.
Oh, love Gary.
He's an amazing man. We worked together and we rebuilt the home of a police officer who lost his leg in the line of duty with the Gary Sinise Foundation. So we're doing amazing work, but the police that are suffering today, they need this organization. And if you want to help law enforcement, go to thewoundedblue.org, hit that donate button, give what you can, and remember, never forgotten, never alone.
Randy, this has been really an interesting talk with you, and it was really a talk, but what you've brought up is something that people should realize. Police officers are human beings out there. They have emotions, they have feelings, and they get depressed. They do what everybody else does too. And when you have such an active lifestyle, being a cop, and then when you retire, and some people are stuck with this syndrome about depression. Something happened along the way, and this is really something that's special. You could count me part of that organization, and can't wait to see you. And what do we like, Johnny Black? What are we drinking today? What are we drinking? Johnny Black on the rocks?
Johnny Black on the rocks. Well, you got it, brother.
Well, all I know is that I've slowed down with the drinking, but when you come around, we'll have a couple of Johnny Blacks. And I want to thank you, Randy, for being part of my One Tough podcast. And God bless you and your family. And if at personal level you ever need anything from me, you call me, okay? And I'd like to get really involved with this organization that you've done. And it's great compliments. Until we see each other again, and to everybody, just remember, there are people out here like Randy who are defending the police officers there that are going through such turmoil today. We need the support of all Americans to show the real respect and love they have for the police of America. Thank you very much. Till next week, thank you. One Tough Podcast, sign off.